Ocean Avenue. In the median is where they light the tree. It's got a giant star on top.
Looks beautiful.
Looks beautiful. A lot of LED lights. We are live in Devendorf Park, which is right across the street from it. The fire department delivered Santa earlier. He's right over my right shoulder here. Santa for the kids. They've got people lined up all day.
Long line.
A stage in the background where they've got some folks singing. They had a children's choir. They had some dancing. A lot of fun stuff that they had all night. And we've got a lot more to talk about here about this beautiful coastal town. Hopefully they showed you some pictures of that beautiful tree again that they just lit.
It has been a fun night out here. A lot of people, a lot of kids very excited to see that tree light up.
Kicking off the holiday here.
And Carmel Plaza, actually not far from us, across the way, and the plaza has a lot of shops, a fun place to walk around. It's hosting an annual open house that goes until 7 o'clock.
Until 7, so just about an hour left on that. Now coming up, we have some really interesting stories about what it's like to live here in Carmel, including dealing with water credits. If you're familiar with that, if you want to do pretty much anything to your property here, you probably know about that. We're going to explain how Clint Eastwood actually comes into play.
And we also have some stories about the number of Chinese tourists who visit Carmel, what they like to buy, plus a local law banning high heels.
Yeah, you got to learn a little bit about that.
I learned about that one.
Fascinating.
So strange.
Yeah, very strange. We're also going to talk about some of the hidden gem restaurants I got to go do. Not a bad assignment. But first, we're going to check in with KION's Matt Sizemore, who is in our studios tonight. Staying warm, hopefully, Matt.
Yeah, staying too warm, possibly. Thank you both. Well, Monterey County is working to roll out a new radio system for all first responders. This new digital system will allow law enforcement, fire, and emergency service agencies to encrypt or close radio channels during certain calls.
It's an officer safety issue for us. If the general public, meaning the bad guys that we're going after, can hear what we're doing, where we're approaching from, and those kinds of things in an active incident, we lose that edge.
Each agency will have to come up with their own policy. No word, though, when that rollout will happen. Campus police at UC Santa Cruz arrested Jose Calderon, connected to the false imprisonment and kidnapping of a student on Thursday. Police say Calderon was giving the woman a ride and refused to let her out of the car. The victim was able to jump out near Mission Street, suffering only minor injuries. This man, Fenice Ruiz, accused of stabbing a 19-year-old outside a Ross store in Salinas, has turned himself in. Police say Ruiz stabbed the man as he sat in his car parked outside the store on North Main Street. Police say it appears they were fighting over an ex-girlfriend. Fenice was booked into the Monterey County Jail. Hollister police arrested a man who tried to run over officers with his car. On Wednesday, police say this man, Felix Casillas, drove up to an active investigation of an auto theft chop shop near Briggs Alley and College Street, got out of his car and yelled at officers, then attempted to run them over. One officer suffered a minor injury. He is facing various charges, including assault with a deadly weapon. Salinas' new police chief has been officially sworn in. Adele Fresse is the first woman to ever lead the Salinas Police Department. She's taking over former Chief Kelly McMillan, who retired in September.
This really is a special day in my life. I am now just one of 4 members in my immediate family who have taken an oath to protect and serve.
Fresse was previously with the Greenfield Department. Many people are excited for the experience she's bringing to the police department. KION's Linda Zhang is at the swearing-in ceremony, and we'll have more coming up at 10 and 11. Well, the Land Trust of Santa Cruz County now has all the funding in place for the land needed to build a wildlife tunnel at Highway 17 and Laurel Curve. Experts following deer and other animals along the highway say it's needed because 45% of the wildlife hit in the Santa Cruz Mountains happens in that area. The tunnel could be done by the end of 2020. Well, those are some of the top headlines we're following for you today. Now let's head back out to Spencer and Amanda. They're at Devendorf Park in Carmel-By-The-Sea, not staying as warm as I am. Back to you two.
Not as warm as the cozy studio.
That's for sure.
We're hanging in there, though. It's a very fun night out here.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Gorgeous night out here. All right, thanks, Matt. Anywhere you look, speaking of gorgeous, you'll see gorgeous homes around here in Carmel, from rustic cottages to places that look like they're straight out of a modern home magazine.
Yeah, some really cool spots around here. But if you want to make any changes to your property or your business around here, you need water credits to do that. And not all properties around here are actually eligible for those water credits. But that's where former mayor here and a star we all know, Clint Eastwood, comes in. His company plays a starring role in what happens. KION's Brandon Castillo explains.
The world of water credits a bit complicated. A fixture value like a sink equals 1 water credit, while a toilet may be 1.7 credits. And the number available limits what you can do with your property. Why? The Carmel Planning Commission says to save water.
Back in the early 90s, the State Water Control Resources Board determined that Cal-Am was over pumping of the Carmel River without a permit. And at that time, they issued an order to reduce the amount of pumping from the river, and that pretty much froze in place the amount of water entitlement that each property has.
That is unless you live within the highlighted areas of Carmel-By-The-Sea and Carmel Valley. If that's the case, then you can buy water credits from Malposa Water Company. It's owned by Clint Eastwood's trust.
We get our approval starting in the summer of last year. So it's been less than a year and a half since we've had the ability to repurpose the water. And our first sales were in just earlier this year.
But if you do want to add on your property, those water credits don't come cheap.
The minimum purchase is 1/10 of an acre foot, which is $24,000.
Realtor Jim Bell says he doesn't have to disclose whether a property's eligible for water credits, but that's what most of his clients are looking for.
If a home, for example, can be developed further because of the water credits, or like in this case, adding a guest unit, it can make a huge difference. So that adds value both to the seller and potential for a buyer as well.
For example, this home's on the market for just under $1.1 million, but without the water credit, it'd be listed for $100,000 less. He says buyers aren't looking at it like throwing money down the drain, but investing into something before the water runs out. In Carmel, Brandon Castillo, KION News Channel 5, 46.
If you've ever been out here to Carmel, it's not just the beautiful homes that you notice, though. Of course, it's the tourists, a big tourist town. People come from all over the world, in fact, to spend time here in Carmel.
Absolutely, and there's one group of foreign tourists who seem to have fallen in love with Carmel in a pretty big way.
Yeah.
KION's Maya Holmes is here now with us to tell us more about that.
So those tourists are coming from China, and officials say they outspend any tourists from any other country, while also adding some culture to the area.
My wife and I just come here to visit.
Journey Penn came all the way from Shanghai, China, to take in the charm and American culture of Carmel.
So many beautiful articles here, and the peace surroundings, so it's attractive.
Sentiments echoed by many Chinese tourists. Now Carmel's #1 international visitor.
One thing that's happening is they've changed the visa requirements in China. So lots more China travelers are coming to the United States.
Shops and restaurants are taking notice and are getting China ready. Basil Seasonal Dining has created a menu translated in Chinese.
A lot of Chinese people were coming here looking at a menu on our board, and they were kind of undecided. They didn't really understand that. They were going through the translation progress and spending extra time. So once they come here and we show them that we have the menu, they just sit down and we are able to capture more business.
The Carmel drugstore is also catering to visitors from China. They're carrying more vitamin supplements, Burt's Bees, and Zippo lighters.
The way they buy the Zippos, they'll buy 4, 5, 6 at a time. So I'm almost thinking either can't get them in China, or the fact they're made in the USA is what draws them to it. But when they come in asking for Burt's Bees, they'll ask for a dozen of one item.
We're going to cross the street.
And marketing officials predict that the number of visitors coming from China will quadruple by 2021. And Spencer and Amanda coming in second and third place for the most foreign visitors visiting Carmel is United Kingdom and Canada.
Yeah, not surprising. Lots of tourists.
It's a cool spot. Definitely worth checking out. Even if you're a local, it's sometimes fun to come out here and explore because it's really beautiful.
Gorgeous. All right, thanks, Maya. We have so much more ahead for you, and we're going to leave you with this live look at the beautiful Christmas tree just lit up not long ago here. We are Central Coasting live from Davendorf Park in Carmel-By-The-Sea. Stay with us.
Welcome back. We are Central Coasting live from Davendorf Park here in Carmel-By-The-Sea on a beautiful but crisp evening. Chief Meteorologist Dan Siaka joining us now in a jacket for the first time maybe ever,
We're all
because
bundled
it's chilly out here
It
this
is
evening.
cold. I mean, it is now we're the second day of meteorological winter, so you can officially break the jackets out. That is my permission to you.
Okay,
and
cool.
certainly tonight you would want to have one because it is chilly out here tonight in Carmel-By-The-Sea. Temperatures are already starting to drop down into the 40s. Let's look at some of the current temps around the region tonight. We've already seen some 40s out there after a real cool morning this morning, but temperatures did recover this afternoon. We did see some 60s out there, but tonight with those clear skies, temperatures already starting to drop off around the Monterey Bay area, already down into the low 50s in some cases. Let's take a look at current winds. That was the other thing we were dealing with today, and overnight last night, winds gusting out of the north. That was bringing another cool, dry air mass into place, and the winds continue mostly over the higher terrain tonight, but have somewhat died down in the lower levels. It's really not breezy here at Carmel at all, but of course we are sheltered by the buildings and the trees. Let's take a look at the rest of your evening around the Monterey Bay area. At 7 p.m. your planner shows mostly clear skies, cool conditions, temperatures near 50. We're down in the upper 40s around the bay. That's all the way to the coast by 8 p.m. and in the mid 40s and chilly by 10 p.m. And now our forecast points into tomorrow. Clear and chilly once again overnight tonight. Patchy frost will certainly be possible. We saw it inland for many areas, and even some areas near the coast did get a little bit of frost on the tops of your cars and the roofs of buildings, so you may have to scrape a few windows. Don't expect any plant killing near the coast, but inland you may see a little bit of light plant damage with those cold temperatures overnight. Now let's look at those temperatures into the day tomorrow, because we're going to have a cold morning, but a warm afternoon. We'll start in Santa Cruz County, 67, your high in Santa Cruz, 65 Capitola, and how about that 69 in Scotts Valley, and the lows in the mid-30s overnight in the San Lorenzo Valley and Scotts Valley, so definitely getting chilly. On to the south and east now. Watsonville, 66 tomorrow, 65 in Salinas, but after a start at 31, San Juan Bautista, you have a high of 68, so kind of a big spread out there. Hollister at 67 tomorrow, 65 Marina. On to the Monterey Peninsula we go. How about Carmel-By-The-Sea, down to 37 degrees overnight. I feel like we'll be smelling some fire smoke in the air someplace, mostly from, people's fireplaces, that kind of thing. 64 for your high tomorrow, Carmel, though not too bad. 62 in Monterey and 63 in Seaside. On to the south now. Carmel Valley, you're down to 35 overnight, back to 67 for your high. Big Sur, the hot spot tomorrow. Anywhere in our coverage area should get close to 70 if you're heading down the coast. Should be gorgeous. Highs in the Salinas Valley in the mid to upper 60s, but after lows in the mid 20s in the south and low 30s as we head to King City and into Greenfield. On over to the extended forecast. Temperatures beautiful through the weekend, highs in the mid 60s. It should be gorgeous on the coast. We'll cool down a bit on Monday, a little bit breezy. Tuesday being the coolest day of the week, and an excess of clouds on Tuesday. We'll see them increase. Warm up a bit Wednesday, Thursday, and we're watching the end of next week for a chance of rain. As for inland areas, still a little breezy tomorrow, but nice and warm. We'll actually warm up maybe a degree or two more on Sunday before starting to cool down Monday. We're breezy Monday into Tuesday, highs back into the 50s and warmer as we head to midweek, and we are again watching for the potential for a little bit of rain by the end of next week. We got so much more tonight from Carmel-By-The-Sea, and we're back after this.
Carmel here is known, of course, as a hub for delicious food and wine, but sometimes it can be hard to find the really good restaurants in the area. Many are tucked away beneath the trees and the small streets and even the courtyards of Carmel. So we wanted to find some of the hidden gems here in the city. We brought, again, food writer for the Monterey Herald, Raul Nava, with us to talk about some of these hidden gems. When we talk about hidden gem, is that what we're talking about? Places that maybe are like off the beaten path for some of the folks looking for them?
Yeah, here in Carmel, there are a lot of amazing places to find food and wine. Maybe you have to look a little bit harder for them because they're tucked away back in the little courtyards, off the main drag, off of Ocean.
Here's the list of spots Raul put together for us to highlight just a few of the more hidden options available.
And today we're at one of my favorite spots, André's Boucher. And here, we get some amazing classic French food and a chance to really kind of dive into an amazing collection of wines as well.
Another relative newcomer is Il Tagamino, classic Italian from the Naples region.
So this is basically what you eat when you come to my house. Is the food that we simple cook and without anything fancy, just simple, straightforward, good food.
It's good food for every palate. You just have to know where to look.
I love, coming into Carmel and, visit some of the newer spots, but also revisit some of my old-time favorites and getting a chance to, go back and see what's new, when new chefs come on board or when restaurants try new dishes and new menus with the seasons. That's definitely always fun, too.
It certainly is. So many good spots here in Carmel for everybody to check out, whether you live around here or you're just visiting as a tourist. Raul put that list together for us, but it's just some. It's up on our website, KION546.com. Check it out and try some of those places out and try some other places. Hunt around a little bit.
You'd have to eat
You'll
at
find
a
lot
different
of
place
great.
every day and you still wouldn't try them all.
Exactly.
Looks delicious. All right, and Carmel-By-The-Sea, also no stranger to quirky laws over the years. In fact, until the 1980s, it was actually against the law to sell and eat ice cream on public streets, believe it or not. But there is one decades-old law that still stands today, a ban on high heels. And we wanted to find out how many people, no high heels for me tonight.
I think we're okay.
How many people in the city actually know about this law, if they've heard about it. We also wanted to find out why this law exists. Take a look. You wouldn't think a pair of shoes could get you in trouble with the law. That is, unless you're visiting Carmel-By-The-Sea, where it's illegal to walk around in heels more than 2 inches high.
I wouldn't be able to wear shoes anymore. I wear heels like every day.
Most tourists we ran into were just as surprised as we were to learn about this unusual rule.
I thought California was a very liberal state. I can't imagine that something like that law would be in place.
Did you pack any high heels for this trip?
I have shoes, wedges, and they're probably maybe about 2.5 inches. I haven't worn them yet, and I probably won't because now I'm scared.
The law went into effect in the 1960s to protect Carmel against lawsuits from people who could trip and fall on the uneven sidewalks.
What it does is it releases the city of liability because we are a tree town and we have trees growing in the middle of sidewalks, we have trees in the middle of the road.
But what would happen if you're caught here in Carmel wearing shoes like this?
Technically there is a fine. You could get a citation, which would be a municipal code violation.
I would be breaking the law with these.
Actually, you would. They're over 2 inches high, and they don't have a one inch base. Yeah. So, yeah, technically those are against
I could get a ticket.
The rules.
Okay. But you likely won't find any officers stopping you on the street to write you that ticket.
No, our officers don't go around with tape measures or rulers measuring women's high heels. We don't do that.
And if you want to play it safe, all you have to do is go to City Hall and get a permit for your heels. They're free, and police say they also happen to make a pretty good souvenir.
Well, that's very interesting.
Since we're on our honeymoon, that would be we can frame it.
So. Nobody will believe it unless you have the permit.
Have to bring that home.
Yeah.
I actually have a permit now. So
Do you? Did you get one?
Oh,
okay. So he didn't have to drag you away. I thought.
No, I'm
lucky
good.
we got you back.
Also, it was pretty funny. Quickly here, they don't even know how much the fine would be because it's been so long. They never hand out any tickets.
Right. It's not enforced, so it's just there and a funny souvenir for folks here in Carmel.
Yeah, certainly is an unusual law.
Yeah, no question about that. We're coming right back after this break. More Central Coasting live from Carmel-By-The-Sea at Devendorf Park.
Welcome back to a very special edition of KION News Channel 546. We are Central Coasting live from Devendorf Park in the beautiful Carmel-By-The-Sea. It's been a great night here tonight.
A little cold.
A little cold. We're hanging in there. This is a small coastal town known for its fair share of art galleries.
Yeah, definitely. If you walk around Carmel, besides the great restaurants, you'll definitely see a lot of art galleries. KION Zach Fuentes, the latest addition to our news team here, joining us now. You got a chance to walk around Carmel, see some of these art galleries.
I've had the best first assignment with you
guys.
guys.
Good introduction.
Couldn't have asked for a better one. Had a great time really just exploring the community here and taking in all the art and culture that there is to offer. I got the chance to speak with local artists here in town and also with the owner of 2 of the art galleries on Ocean Avenue. The company's had a gallery in New York and currently has 2 in New Orleans. So for them to come here is a really big deal. He says coming to the West Coast and landing in Carmel is an easy decision.
Carmel has very discernible art collectors. You have people that have beautiful homes that appreciate a good level of art and have the means to be able to afford it. You would not only have locals from Carmel, but the people that come between LA and San Francisco back and forth.
All right, and Scott told me that business here in Carmel has been extremely successful, and he plans on keeping both galleries here on Ocean Avenue indefinitely. He's actually hoping the kids are going to take over for him when he wants to decide to retire.
Hey, how about that? Good.
Amazing.
Keep the family business going there for a while. That's a
Absolutely.
great idea. Lots of great places here in Carmel. We got to explore a lot. We've had such a fantastic time Central coasting out here. We got Dan back with us, but we ran out of chairs, I think. So
Yeah.
too cold. Maybe you could sit on Amanda's lap or something to keep her warm.
Santa was over there.
Yeah,
I know.
we missed
Santa took off. It has cleared out since they lit the tree about half an hour ago. Now, beautiful tree, though. You can come down and check it out some other time if you didn't get a chance
Very
to come out here
festive
tonight.
down here.
Definitely enjoy Carmel-By-The-Sea. It's the gem here on the Central Coast. Thanks so much for watching and have a happy holidays.
We'll see you at 10 and 11. Have a great night.